Thank you, Marissa. Thank you, Amod. Really, really exciting development in terms of taking the next step in terms of business IQ. How are you guys doing? Good? You got a little bit more energy? We've got more Scooby snacks. Adam, Anil, I don't know where you guys are, but add one more feature to the list. We've covered a lot this morning, so let me take a minute to recap that before we jump to the last section, which is really about the future and where we're going. But first, we give you this concept of complete visibility, all the way from the user to the application to the server and down to the network. And we automatically correlate everything that we're collecting to this idea of the business transaction and now this idea of the business journey, which lets you look at how your technology stack is impacting an individual user taking an individual action, even as the action executes across an increasingly distributed cloud environment, so that you can monitor your application, so that you can monitor your business, and so you can understand the relationship between the two. This end-to-end visibility and the underlying data model that connects everything together can redefine how IT and business work together in enterprises. We have major banks using AppDynamics to dynamically baseline money transfers at this point so they can jump on a business problem if transfers drop below the norms. We have major airlines starting to track passengers getting on planes and passengers getting off planes by city so that they can know that JFK is backing up before the gate agents even know that. We have major retailers using AppDynamics to track and baseline every step of the purchase flow so they can immediately respond if business performance degrades and conversion rates go down. Agile business is just as important as agile development, and AppDynamics is going to empower you to do both. This is obviously important for your business. It's critical in today's digital world. But in a world where the application and the business are converging, it's also critical for your careers. So don't look at business IQ as something that the line of business folks on the other side of the building do. This is your responsibility going forward. What you do, the health of the technology stack, is the health of the business. This is your opportunity. So take the time today to check out the Business IQ breakout session. I think you'll find it incredibly rewarding, and I think you'll find it a great thing to do for your own personal careers. All right, so with that, let's shift our attention from what we've been doing and what we've been talking about this morning to the near future. What we've discussed so far this morning lets you diagnose the past, it lets you resolve issues in the present, and lets you start planning for the future. But what if you could predict more about the future? What if you could proactively address incidents before they even happen? What if you could prioritize the most valuable technical fixes, the ones that really, really benefit the business, before the business even knows that something's wrong? The industry is going to transform in the years ahead from describing what's happening to predicting what will happen, and ultimately prescribing actions that will optimize your future. This isn't as far away as you might think if you have a ton of data, if you have access to that data in real time, you have the right data model that lets you correlate everything together, and you have a design-led way of thinking about your product. And as we've spent this morning discussing, AppDynamics has a lot of data. We collect trillions of metrics. We said we process it in real time, and we said we organize it into the richest data model in the industry, correlating everything to those business transactions and those business journeys. So the only ingredient missing is a design-led product leader. So with that, I'd like to invite up our new VP of Product Design, Linda Tong, to share what we think about the future. Linda?
Thanks, David. It has been a journey getting here. Last time this year, I was at Summit, like many of you, as a customer. I was actually at the NFL, professional linebacker, clearly. No, really, I was at the NFL overseeing their product and innovation team. And I remember sitting in this audience and listening to David and Bhaskar and the team here, and I saw their passion, and I listened to their vision, and I was so excited by it that ultimately I had to quit my job and come work at AppDynamics so that we could bring together that vision together. So I'm so happy to be here. And so you're probably thinking, the future sounds great, but more importantly, it's what's the journey to get there? What are the steps we need to take to unlock that? And for us, it's a matter of 4 key focus areas. First, it's about collecting a ton of data. This is something we do really well. We have the largest APM deployments in the world across both on-prem and SaaS environments. We're collecting over 5 trillion metrics a month in SaaS environments alone. And don't forget about the fact that we're part of Cisco, so throw in the network and data center and security insights that we're getting there. With all of this data, we've been able to see practically every issue you can imagine on every environment in every architecture. And that's amazing. But that's not enough. You need more than just data. And that brings us to the second focus area. You need to organize that data. You need to structure it. You need the right data model. This is something that AppDynamics has gotten right since the beginning. We've been focused on how application performance intersects with business performance. This allows us to connect the dots. We're connecting the dots between the CPU data and network data and application data, but more importantly, we're connecting those dots to business transactions, and from business transactions to business journeys, and ultimately being able to give you insight into how these different metrics affect your key KPIs. So whether it's revenue or user engagement, we can start to tell you how a performance degradation affects revenue. That's powerful. And as we continue to give these insights back to you and start to scale up your data and give you more and more insight into what might happen, you're going to ask, what should I be paying attention to? What's more important? And this is why we get to the third focus area, building and training the right algorithms so that we can start to unlock capabilities like root cause analysis and data anomaly and understanding potentially what events might happen in the future. We've been investing in machine learning since the beginning. We've been doing this for over 8 years. You've seen it in our business transactions and how we correlate those across the stack. You've seen it in how we do dynamic baselining. And even more recently, you've seen it in our Kpi Analyzer, how we give you insights on how different metrics affect your average response time. We're only scratching the surface. As we get better and better, we want to give you insight into different events that might happen in the future so that potentially we can move into a space where we get to the fourth area of focus, which is giving you insights and recommendations on how to remediate. We want to train our machines so we can understand the difference between correlation and causation. Then we can give you recommendations on actions to take as incidents occur within your systems. The better and better we get at that, we can move to a model of automation. We can start to do things like restarting a server instance or scaling horizontally to meet demand. And we can do all of this with high levels of confidence while presenting little or no risk to you and your customers. Wouldn't that be nice? Imagine focusing on bigger, important matters at your business while we take care of the rest. So our labs team has been hard at work building a really cool concept prototype so we can give you a view of what we think the future at AppDynamics could be with you. So we're going to switch gears. We're going to move over, and we're going to kind of leave that world of 80 financials and finance and move into the exciting world of fashion. And we're going to look at our online retail application, AppDynamics. And Kevin, our amazing specialist who's back, is going to show you how we're preparing and how AppDynamics is preparing for their fall and winter launch, because don't forget, Black Friday is around the corner. So Kevin, how are things looking over at AppDynamics?
Thanks, Linda. We're going to help AppDynamics have a really great, successful fall and winter launch. The thing I love about the AppD Labs program is how we encourage our engineers to go out and talk to our customers. And we went out and we talked to our customers. We asked them about, what do you think about the future of APM? And they came back and they told us, there's really 2 areas of focus. If you guys are thinking about machine learning and predictive, well, then we need a way to reconcile the past, the present, and the future in terms of performance. And then the second thing they asked us was, well, how can you help us get to a system that's also more action-oriented so we can move faster? So let's flip over and take a look at our concept prototype. So what you're seeing here is very different from what we've seen in the previous demos. Again, I want to stress this is a concept prototype. And front and center, we have our timeline view. And we can look back in time, and we can see historical performance. In the background here, we're showing that transaction scorecard where we have green is healthy, yellow and red is slow and very slow. So that's a histogram in the background. And on top, we have this average response time overlaid. And we're also showing you some issues that have happened in the past that we've resolved. And down below, we have our most important user journey. And we've seen many journeys today. But in this case, we care about login. We care about product search, add to cart, check inventory, and checkout. And we're also looking at the real-time revenue that we're generating in this time window, and also potential at-risk revenue as well.
That's awesome, Kevin. But in addition on this screen, what I'm seeing in this bottom right area, I'm seeing a relatively new concept to AppDynamics. We're bringing these issues onto this page with also some additional information that I'm not used to. Can you walk through that real quick?
Yeah, so AppDynamics is really good at getting you to the red and figuring out the problem. What we're doing is we're inverting that model. We want to take those issues and surface them at the top level. And we also want to bring in more information. And one thing I want to highlight here is this probability column. These are probabilities because these issues, we think, are in the future. And as you mentioned, we have the Kpi Analyzer, so we're already doing some of this machine learning in the background, and we're starting to present more of these potential causes, right? We also have estimated users that could be affected, as well as the estimated amount of revenue that could be impacted. So we see that there's some issues in the future. We can go forward in our time bar, and we can see that we have some historical traffic trends here, and there's a confidence band for our average threshold. And if we move that time bar forward, it begins to change the user journey here. Check inventory changes. We have impacts showing up in our flow map view. We keep going all the way out, and we see that we have our checkout transaction critically impacted, and clearly there's areas of our flow map that are lit up. So what we can do now is we can actually go and we can investigate the cause of this problem. And that brings up our root cause analysis panel.
This is great. And so on this panel, we're really allowing you to dive in to better understand what's causing that red, what's causing that issue, and potentially what is like the main reason. I'm seeing some additional diagnostics here and some information and confidence intervals. What is that?
So at the very top, we have the average response time, which we can see is ticking up. And down below, we have theories. The machine has presented to us different theories that we can go and analyze. And we can take a look at these theories, and we can decide which ones we think are more accurate. But as you see here, we provide a confidence percentage. And we also provide the ability to give feedback to the system to make it even more accurate. And here in this case, we have an issue here that starts with a CPU usage percentage problem, which impacts memory, garbage collection, heap, and ultimately ladders up to average response time.
That's awesome. And so, with this information, it makes it a lot easier for me to make a decision and take action and better understand what to do next. So what do we want users to do next here?
We want to help teams take action faster. And on the right here, we have recommended action. Now, sometimes we're very confident and the risk is relatively low. We can actually execute a recommendation and we can fix the problem. But sometimes we're not as confident and the risk is a little bit higher, in which case we can take other actions. For example, we can start a WebEx, we can ask our developers to dogpile, and we can take a look at the issue and resolve it. But ultimately, what we're trying to do is we want to drive teams toward a model where we can start to automate and remediate and recommend the actions that are simple. And so that way, teams can focus on higher order, more sort of interesting and challenging problems in the future.
That's awesome. Thanks for walking us through this, Kevin. This is really great. I'm really excited about the future. And what's really valuable about what we have been putting together here and what we really want to hammer home is, first, that we want to bring the most important concepts to one screen so that you're not hunting around, but really you're getting all the insights you need in one place. And more importantly, we want to give you insight into how you can act on those, how we can start to move to a world where we're seeing things before they happen and we're helping you take action before anything affects you or your users. So this is a world that we're so pumped about, and we're really excited to bring you on this journey with us. So please do give us feedback. Stop us when you're here. We're really pumped. But to tell you more about some of the exciting things that we're doing as part of AppDynamics and what's coming next in the future, I want to bring David Wadhwani back up on the stage.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Kevin. So as Linda and Kevin just walked us through, there's a powerful vision that we have for where we hope to take you in the years ahead. But I'll reiterate that this is not some abstract future state. This is something I believe we can get you to in the near future. In fact, we believe so strongly in this vision that we're doubling down today. And I couldn't be happier and more excited to announce our intent to acquire Perspica. Perspica is a leading machine learning and analytics company focused on IT operations. Perspica's technology, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, will allow AppDynamics to perform machine learning on the stream of data before it's ingested and sitting at rest. This intelligence in the stream will allow us to massively increase the number of data endpoints that we can ingest, really blowing out the amount of scale that we can deal with. But it'll also help us alert problems and take actions on those problems in milliseconds because we're looking at the data as it's coming in on the stream. Perspeca's founder and some of the employees are here today joining us for the very first time. So for all of them, let me just take a minute and welcome you to Cisco and welcome you to AppDynamics. We're really excited about working with you guys in the years ahead. This is a really, really big deal for us, and yet another example of how Cisco can help accelerate what we do on your behalf. So I hope you appreciate that in the context of Cisco and everything we're talking about here today, we are dreaming bigger. And I'll end the way that I began. Imagine again a world where there's a single platform capable of monitoring everything end-to-end, from end user to application to infrastructure, like John showed you. Imagine being able to connect every technical decision to the impact it actually has on your users and on your business, like Marissa showed you. And imagine using that data from AppDynamics as impulses into intelligent systems that drive your day-to-day tasks and are constantly optimizing your technology and your business, like Linda showed you. We think this is a worthy journey. It's a worthy journey for all of us at AppDynamics, and we hope that every one of you will join us on this journey in the years ahead. I promise you, it's going to be exciting.